So the WNBA CBA negotiations are getting sketch. They're getting this thing might crumble and fall. All of this might get flushed down the toilet. Um, the WNBA owners are doing what owners have always done. They want the lion's share of the money, and they are probably going to get the lion's share of the money. That is not going to change. What the players want is just a bigger piece of that pie. Do they deserve it? Yes. Are they going to get it? Not on the first crack. And I think, in my opinion, that's where this thing is going to go south. In my opinion, I think the WNBA players are trying to bite off too much on the first crack at it. This is the first real time the CBA like really matters, because this is the first time in its history. No, I won't say in its history. Well, yeah, this is the first time in its 29, 30-year history that the WNBA has made money like this. Let me say it like that. This is the first time that they have had real advertisers putting real money, and you had real marketable stars that go past the threshold. You guys hear me talk about threshold all the time. You got household names. You haven't had household names in the WNBA since its inception, when Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie and all of them were coming off Olympic gold, because back then you did not have as many distractions like you have now. You didn't have 8 million things going on ESPN. You didn't have Amazon Prime and Hulu Plus and Peacock and you know bananas baseball and cornhole, and you've got a million other things that you could focus on or that would direct your attention. Hell, they bowling at Disney outside, for goodness sake. So there are a lot of other distractions that didn't exist back then. So it was a little bit more refined and a little bit more pure. Now, you got to get that advertising dollar. You got to get that influence out there. You got to be able to attract the attention. And quite honestly, this is the first time where any athlete has been able to capture the attention like this. It's not about who's the best player. That has nothing to do with it. A couple years ago, Diana Taurasi was clearly the best player in the league. The average basketball fan didn't care. Only hardcore fans were worried about the WNBA. And I've said this a billion times. The hardcore fans don't fill up the arenas. But now they have an attraction in Caitlin Clark that the average fan is going to stop. The average fan is going to walk by the TV and like, oh, there go that girl. The average fan is going to go to an LPGA event when they never did or never worried about it. Way back in Caitlin's rookie season, I was comparing her to the Tiger Woods effect. Is she as good in basketball like Tiger Woods was in golf? Absolutely not. Caitlin Clark is good. Do not get it twisted. Tiger Woods was next level. Tiger Woods was a phenom. He was a prodigy. And nobody was ready for that. They had already had the attention, and they already had people watching in the PGA Tour. And Tiger Woods took that and took it to another level. Tiger Woods was so good that the PGA was changing courses, the way courses laid, and lengthening courses, because he was too good. He was crushing courses, breaking records. So they had to change the game because of him. That's how good Tiger Woods is. But the appeal of Tiger Woods is the same as Caitlin Clark, in my opinion. The appeal of Tiger Woods, where you had black folks watching golf who never cared about golf before. The galleries in some of these PGA Tour events, the lesser ones, not the majors are always full. What Tiger Woods did was some tour event that nobody ever heard of was packed, sold out. And a lot of these places weren't ready for it because the crowd swell was so big. That's what Caitlin Clark is doing. That's why when she goes and plays with Annika Sorenstam, let's be real. Most of y'all don't even know who Annika Sorenstam is. I do because I'm a golfer. But when you show up to one of her pro-am events unannounced, people find out and then they get crushed trying to fulfill all of the tickets. She is bringing the attention and she is bringing the money. And advertisers and media want to spend money on her. The WNBA has never been in this position before. Again, it's not about how great of a player you are. A'ja Wilson, in my mind, is the best player in the league right now, full stop. She has never brought this much attention to the game. She didn't have the recipe. Diana Taurasi didn't have the recipe. Candace Parker didn't have the recipe. Candace Parker had the talent, but the media wasn't ready. Ella Del Don, Ella Del Don was a beast, but nobody watched it. There was only a few players in the WNBA that the average person who's not a huge fan can name, and that's the problem. Now you got somebody, you ask the average person, they'll know who Caitlin Clark is. They'll know who Angel Reese is. So they're trying to take advantage of that. The problem with the WNBPA, the Players Association, is they are trying to bite off too much on the first crack. They're going to get a big bump in pay to whatever deal they finally agree with. It's going to be the next CBA that's going to set them over the top. And they have to be willing to wait. If they try to get it all on the first crack, it's not going to work because you still have to build your base. And now you have a definite appeal and you have a definite generation of new fans that are going to grow with you. You have to take that into consideration. And every time they play a sound clip of Kelsey Plum talking about we want 50% of the revenue, that's unrealistic on your first crack at a new CBA. That's unrealistic. The owners are probably not going to come off of that. I will be very surprised if that happens. Now, do they deserve a bigger piece of the revenue? Absolutely. But this goes back into the other problem. What is the revenue? That means the owners got to share their numbers, got to share what they bringing in, what they ticket sales, and they got to give all of that information. And they keep that close to the vest. Real close to the vest. So I think the looking at all of this information, they put this out there. The WNBA put this out there and like, hey, it's a 1.1 million Supermax. There's a lot of details in this that get missed. It's not as it seems. There are some intricacies and some details that you got to read the contract. As somebody who has signed an NFL contract, I am glad I had an agent because all of the jargon and the legalese that's involved in those contracts is very confusing on purpose. So this is turning into a shit show. And in my opinion, I don't know if the WNBA can survive if they have a work stoppage because there's too many other avenues and too many other places that people can go that will capture their attention and keep it out of sight, out of mind. They will follow Caitlin Clark. I don't know if they can follow all the other players.